The Lost has a big sound and a bright future. Join us as Freddie introduces us to the bandmates for the first time in the American Vida studios and give them a listen inside the iHeartRadio app, especially their song, Get Your Mind Right. You'll thank me later. They may be a local San Antonio alternative hip-hop band today, but I have a strong feeling they'll be international rock stars tomorrow. I hope you enjoy getting to know them as much as I did, and please share this podcast with a friend. Let's all welcome The Lost to American Vida.
Bienvenido. This is American Vida, the pursuit of a bicultural identity. Here's your host, Tito Caballero.
So I don't know if you guys know how Freddie and I met, but I thought this was pretty interesting because it amazes me how you can work so closely with someone and not know anything about them, you know? And Freddie and I have been working on a project for a few weeks, maybe 6 weeks or so. And I just kind of found out through conversation that he was in a band. He was very modest about it, right? And then I started to do my homework, and I'm like, bro, like you could be working next to a rock star and like not even know it, dude. So that's kind of how all of this came to be. But thank you.
Your check is in the mail, sir.
Thank you for introducing me to the band. Yeah. And thank you guys for coming by American Vida today.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no. We have a lot to talk about. First of all, I'm a fan, of course. I couldn't resist the opportunity to introduce you guys. And I think with us, we have everybody, right? Chris, John, Junie, Freddie, Eddie, and Anthony. Is that everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yep. All right, cool. I'll start off with Freddie real quick. And first of all, congratulations on all of your accomplishments, because doing the writing, the production, the rapping, the singing, along with the other guys as well. But you also are a director and do the music videos. And when you're not doing any of that stuff, you're doing kung fu.
Yes. So well, I study with my
daughter. What do you find most rewarding? Because you kind of have your hands like in a lot of parts of the collective, you know, from the video directing and the mind behind that and the production. So what do you find most fulfilling?
I mean, it's like, to me, it's like just a giant like taco salad, like trying to put it together. Like there's just so much. And I enjoy the finished product. I enjoy the process of creating, the journey, all that. So I would just say all of it. You know, all of it's my favorite. Being
able to touch different parts of it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think all of you guys are pretty versatile. I mean, because I know I was just kind of, and you have to pardon me because I'm just getting to know you guys. I mean, I don't.
That's what we're here for, man. It's good.
So I'm learning along with the people who are listening to the podcast right now.
Definitely. We appreciate each and every one of y'all too, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
But one of the things that I was mentioning to Freddie, and when you jump on the mic, just feel free to just say who you are real quick, so when people are listening to the podcast, they know who's talking. But one of the things that I was mentioning to Freddie, you know, immediately, like when he sent me the demo, and I was listening, I thought like, man, these guys, like I could hear them in a stadium, or I could hear them like headlining Coachella. I think those were the words that I used.
If you got some connects,
that's the idea. Yeah, this is John David speaking right here, and I want to say thank you for that too. But that's kind of what the goal was. So the fact that that's coming across, it really means a lot. We want that big sound. We want that stadium sound. Our whole goal is to kind of like rock shows. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So with a good message too.
Yeah. You know, right. So when you leave that place, you feel all inspired. You feel like you can kind of kick down doors and whatever you do. You know what I mean? Like you make your own taco salad. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I was going to talk about this a little bit later, but let's talk about it now since you brought it up, because I think it's relevant to what you just said. But Get Your Mind Right. I'm assuming that's your latest single?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're listening to the podcast right now, and you can find The Lost inside the iHeartRadio app, and I encourage you to go and give them a listen. But in particular, Get Your Mind Right. I don't care what you're facing in life. Like, if you have a dream, maybe your dream is to lose 50 pounds. Maybe your dream is to be a CEO of your own company. Maybe your dream is to be a rapper or whatever, to be a great mom, a great dad, just to get up in the morning and get through your day with that mindset of, I'm going to get this done, and you need a little push, just pop that song into your playlist. Because I felt like I was invincible after I heard that song.
Wow.
So how did that song come together?
Well, I'll take that one. This is John David once again.
Okay.
And like Freddie said, everything that comes with this band it's really that taco salad metaphor. Really, it's
right.
Everybody brings their own piece to it, and when we put it together, it's just bomb. So the way that song came together is basically it was a job that Freddie had to do. He was working on some media for somebody, and basically we had the term "get your mind right" was what we had to work with. You know? And Chris being me and Chris work real tight together on actually what you hear in the songs. Like what you hear in the song is kind of like it's a mix of Chris's ability to just master melody and for me and him to sit together and get words in there and make it sound good. So we had the title. Freddie gave us the title, and I kind of sat with it for a little while because it was like, how can I make that sound cool? Like, how can I make that sound cool? But it kind of just like hit me in little pieces, little pieces along the way. And like I would text Freddie and be like, look, I got this part of it. What do you think? Hey, Freddie, I got this part of it. What do you think? And I was like, oh, yo, Chris, what do you think of this? Because Chris is that magic voice you hear on there. That's him, man.
Yeah. So okay, which one is Chris? You're Chris. Okay.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi,
No, seriously. And a little bit about Chris. Chris comes from a musical family, the Farias family, La Tropa F from San Antonio. You probably are familiar with the band. But your vocals are next level, dude. Like really. Like I mean, when I hear you singing, it's that type of vocalist that just like makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
That's my boy.
and all of you are like, and Freddie too, like you're so unassuming, and when you're like spitting your raps too, dude, like I didn't know you had that in you. You know what I mean? Like I see Freddie here at iHeart, and he's like holding a camera, and he's kind of quiet and kind of doing his thing, you know, keeping his head down and doing his work.
He's not really paying attention to what he's doing. He just
he's writing lyrics.
This is Junie, by the way. Yeah, he's just writing lyrics and he's holding the camera.
He's not handing out his mixtapes.
That's what makes it fun for me though, because by the time the taco salad gets to me, like it's all there, and I just put the guac on top. Boom.
Yeah. Nice. I love the taco salad analogy. So, Chris, when obviously you came from a musical family, but when did you realize that this is something that you just had to pursue?
It's I really don't even know like the time or date or anything like that. It's kind of been just a long period of just stretching myself into different atmospheres and areas of music, going from R&B to soul to rock to basically trying to make sure that I can do everything. But really, it all kind of was like an imitation of being able to sing anywhere from like Frank Sinatra to Otis Redding to, some rock star out there. So
right.
I can't really say there was a date or
time in your life. You just kind of grew into it.
Just continued to stretch myself every moment I had an opportunity to.
And that's what I like about him is it's authentic. Like with Chris, like it's all like soul. He leaves it all out there, and that's what I enjoy about Chris singing.
I would have to agree. How did you guys meet? I mean, have you guys been playing for a long time, or?
Yeah, us three went to high school together.
Yeah, it's a long time.
John Marshall Rams. Shout out
to John Marshall.
But we've met Junie. I've known Junie forever, and we met Chris at a studio we worked at. We were working on. We met Chris. We asked him if he could sing on some songs, and we were just like, wow, this guy's amazing.
Get that guy.
This guy, we need this guy. He's amazing.
How do we steal that singer?
And what were you doing, Chris, before that meeting happened in the studio? Were you just working on your own stuff?
So the studio that we were working at, I was working with another band at the time, and I think it was the same guy that was recording us. He was recording them as well. And I think they were looking for a singer, and so I think he reached out to me or reached out to you guys, and just he gave up my information, and they found me
without your knowledge.
And we haven't let him know since.
It was very much a blind call. It's like, hey, can you come down to the studio?
Yeah.
Listen to these guys, hang out with them. I was pretty sure I was gonna die, so.
He didn't die, folks.
I'm still alive.
We're glad he didn't die. So. Tell us a little bit about, whoever wants to speak up on this, about the name, The Lost. If you guys want to share, how you came up with that name, if there's a meaning behind that name.
I'll jump in there. This is John David again. Basically, I'm going to say that every time. But so the way we came up with The Lost is basically, it was kind of like, in each of us, and these guys are real musical too, by the way. They're real musicians. So it's like, in everybody's aspect of what they bring to the band, we kind of feel like we were bringing that lost element to it. As time goes on, music's getting a real cookie cutter. Music's getting real production line-ish. You know what I mean? And all of us in the group, we kind of grew up in our respective areas jumping it. Like me and Freddie grew up loving hip hop. Chris grew up singing in the church, singing. I mean, so that comes from the soul. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Junie grew up playing drums. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's that love, that actual like authentic love towards what you do in the band. And we kind of feel like a little bit of that is being lost in this kind of like poppy generation.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do is we wanted to represent what was lost in each of those genres of music.
That's really interesting. And you know, not only I feel that a lot of that, and I've had this conversation with a lot of local artists. And I grew up here. I moved away, lived in LA for a little bit, came back, and the music scene's different. But a conversation that I seem to be having over and over with local artists, and not just here in San Antonio, everywhere, is, you know, we're so busy trying to, and I throw myself like I'm an artist, right?
You are, bro. You are, bro.
No, but we're artists feeling that, you know, everybody's so busy trying to chase that follower or that like or that comment. And it seems like for a lot of folks, not the consumers, maybe to some extent as well, that's more important than what you said has just been lost.
We agree.
That's
It's
the spirit
like,
of it all.
and it's amazing because I have interviewed artists here locally. There's this one guy. His name is Jan Luis. He's in the reggaeton world, right?
Hey, much props to you, bro.
He had maybe 800 followers on Instagram or 600 followers on Instagram, and I've also interviewed people who had 100,000 followers on Instagram, but you know they're getting the gigs.
Well, the way I feel is like I don't really want to. I mean, wherever music goes is cool, but this is where we're going. And if you enjoy and if you want to ride with us, I mean, you ride with us. That's what's cool about music is that there's everything out there. You know, if you prefer that, cool.
Yep.
But if you're looking for something that may have got lost along the way, then tune in. You know,
that's cool.
I like to think when you hear the Lost music, as soon as you hear like, oh, this is the Lost, this is a new song from the Lost, without hearing.
It's like a signature
Chris
sound.
singing,
Right,
like
it is a signature sound.
Yeah. There's a lot of music out there. This is Anthony, by the way. It sounds like you got the same. Sounds like you have like the same writers. For the same genre.
And let's talk about that signature sound a little bit. So, Junie and Eddie, that's bass and percussion, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So I think that you probably credit a lot of the signature sound to Junie and Eddie, right?
It definitely is. You know they carry.
Right?
That carries
bass
things. You know,
and percussion. So
and they love it. So go ahead, Junie.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about how did you if you could explain your signature sound, what would you explain it as?
It's crazy when I get the music, how I put it together in my head versus how I got it originally. I got a bunch of jazz roots, I think, in my head. I got some gospel roots.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to Parliament Funkadelic with my pops. So when I'm mixing our genre, which is kind of got some rock vibes, it's got the hip hop vibe, it just kind of falls into place for me because I grew up listening to a plethora of music. So
and that's the reason why this is Eddie, by the way. This is why like me and Junie, I mean, like we flow really so well because a lot of what we listen to like especially when we were younger, because I do have as well not just like playing like rock music, but also having that R&B and then soul, funk type of background. Yeah. And mostly when it comes to playing and writing, performing like with the Lost, it's mostly about just bringing in like not just like an eclectic mix, but also something that people will be familiar with.
Right. And I think, well, obviously, congratulations because you guys have been able to accomplish that. But I was sharing with a couple of other employees here. I'm like, hey, you know Freddie, right? And they're like, did you know he was in a band? No, really? He was in a band? I'm like, yeah, he's in a band.
You're the man, dude.
And
How can you tell us?
But I know, right? But they asked me, well, what kind of music? I said, well, it's a rock band, but there's some rapping in there as well. I'm like, but I said, they have their own sound. I said, I've run across folks who are chasing. They're chasing whatever it is they're chasing. Whether they're chasing a like, or maybe today they're like Latin and tomorrow they're like rap. But they're like trying to chase the crowd or trying to chase the audience. And I feel like I don't feel that from you guys. I feel like I wrote this down somewhere because I don't want to lose it. But I feel like, you know, you guys are, when I hear your song, it's like what I hear is, this is who we are, and you're gonna love it.
Exactly.
There's
on the head.
There's no hesitation.
No backing down.
It's just this confidence that you can just kind of hear in
and
music.
to be completely honest with you guys, that comes from time. You know what I mean? Like that we all came from different things, doing different things, sharpening that sword. You know what I mean? And then when we got together, there was still more sharpening that got done too. So that sound that you hear is like a result of a lot of work. Right. But that's what makes it sound effortless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, and it does.
It and we appreciate that. You know, and I think the fact that we've grown together as a band, just as some good guys, we've learned that like the ego has really subsided. So I mean, it makes it easy to work with each other. You know what I mean? Like, so all y'all out there that's like up and comers, or you know, you're chasing that sound. Time and consistency will definitely get you there.
Long nights in the studio, long nights writing. There's a lot of
and
work.
Probably I would think a little bit of humility.
That comes with the time.
Yeah. So
the thing about humility too is like one time Chris said in an interview, like, we've all been knocked down.
Yeah.
And it's the resiliency that I think all of us share.
Yeah.
That is what makes it great, because we're still going. We're still here. And that's in the song, Get Your Mind Right, you know?
Yeah.
I feel fear, but I'm still here. I have not had enough yet. So we're going to keep pushing forward.
Being able to keep a band together, I would imagine isn't easy. I've heard a couple of you guys mention faith and mention like gospel background. And I don't know about you guys, but maybe because God has his hands on it, like things sound so great, because you guys have that influence, I think, collectively, it seems like, but
yeah, I mean, I'd say as a collective, like, because you look at it as a band, right?
Yeah.
So if you got guys in the band that grew up in church, and you got other guys that didn't really grow up in church, but we got respect for the other guys.
For sure.
So whatever y'all are talking about, we make sure that's respectable. A good story about that is some of the times, like when we're throwing lyrics around, I always try to make sure that it's something that Chris can feel and sing with conviction. Yep. So and we've got to that point now where he can totally tell me like, nah, John, I ain't singing that. You know, and I'll never judge. It's never no problem or anything like that.
Yeah.
We work on it to make sure it's like cohesive and it's us. You know what I mean?
This is Junior, by the way. Like, we want to make something that has a positive message, but we also still want you to be able to bounce to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely,
Listen to circles.
It's all about making
Definitely the
people bounce.
message can be in any category, whether it's like a Christian or
Absolutely.
rock, pop, hip hop.
To human.
Definitely.
It's a human.
Exactly.
It's about the human experience.
It doesn't matter who you are. We just want you to bounce.
So if there's one thing that you'd like to be able to do, being the talented artists that you are, with this platform that you have, you know, what would that be? I mean, it doesn't matter, you know, what happens in life. You know, you have to make sure this happens, whether, you know, that is work with somebody, perform at a certain venue, be able to send a message to humans. And maybe you don't know the answer to that yet, but what do you think, you know, that one thing you're like, man, I have got, maybe you've done it already.
Well, I want, personally, for me, my goal is to
Freddie. Yep.
Just like, maybe we inspire that kid who's just about to quit, and he hears a song that we put out, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna keep going. That's kind of my little corny goal, but it is deep down. That's what I want.
Right.
I agree.
Piggybacking off of that, just inspiring other people, and obviously, you know, like being able to do what we love for a living and being able to, you know, get paid from that. That's
right.
You know, that's kind of like the ultimate dream. Do what you love and get paid. You know.
Right.
But you know, I love playing live. I love to motivate people, get people inspired, and I think as a collective, I think that's what we're all into.
So if that kid is standing at the iHeart Radio Music Festival when he gets inspired, it's all the better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. And if you're listening to the American Vida podcast right now and kind of wondering what's going on or who we're talking to, this is The Lost, local San Antonio band, and I'm really glad I got to discover you guys. I really hope you take the time to listen to their work. I think you'll join me in appreciating what they're bringing to the table, and I think that you guys are definitely underrated. I predict I predict big things for you guys. Just because your talent and humility are really inspiring. Has anybody ever asked you to change or pick a lane? Because you're managing a lot. You're managing a lot of different influences. And I know artists struggle with this all the time. You know, I've talked to Latino artists, you know, who I was talking to a female the other day. She was related to Linda Ronstadt, and she's you know, like a Chicana, lives the American life. And, you know, she said, I've had to battle with staying true to my Chicana roots. You know, she's like, I've had labels tell me, well, let's change your last name to something that's more mainstream. Or let's change your sound and kind of try to drop this or that. Has anybody ever asked you guys to pick or change a lane?
I mean, of course, being in a genre of music where it's all mixed together like that, you're going to get that. Because, I mean, at our shows, it's kind of eclectic. You know, you got some people that just want to hear the rock. Some people just want to hear the rap. Some people just, you know what I mean? So when you get a genre like where it's mixed up like this, you will get that. But like you said earlier, we kind of punch through to that point where it's like, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. Mm-hmm. And I'll be cocky for a minute. If you give it a time and to listen, you'll like it.
This is Junie, and I think one of the harder parts about our scene here in San Antonio, it's cover band heavy.
Yeah,
so
it is.
What I've noticed, what we run into is people will ask sometimes, how come you guys don't throw some covers in? And it's like trying to play original music, like kind of defeating the purpose of, you know, what we're doing. So
I hate that
cover band city.
It really is. You know, I not too long ago went to my brother bought us some tickets to my brother and I have grown up going to shows, right? It's like our thing. But it was Led Zeppelin 2. Yeah. Right? And dude, they sold out the Aztec Theater. A cover band sold out the Aztec Theater.
That's crazy. That's cool. I mean, there's
They're really good.
And I mean, there's people who are passionate about that. That's fine. I'm not knocking on it by any means. Musicians are musicians.
No, for sure.
But just when you're trying to break into, you know, getting your own music out there, and you just poured your heart into this song that you wrote, and then somebody's like, "Hey, do you know some Skinnerd?" I'm like, "No, I don't know Skinnerd."
Freebird.
Play Freebird. Yeah.
So you guys have one? Is it one or two full albums?
Got two full albums.
Two full albums.
Great
right?
work. And
After the Rain.
Well, After the Rain. Sorry.
Okay.
It's After the Rain.
Okay.
Is the name of the album.
Okay.
And then the next album was The Great Work on there.
Okay. Yeah. So do you guys see yourselves as rock stars?
I do.
That's good.
I mean, you kind of have to. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. You know.
I mean, obviously, I think you guys are. But I'm curious what the job that humbled you the most has been.
Pizza Hut.
you was Pizza Hut.
My first job was Pizza Hut.
Mine was Bill Miller's.
Target.
All right.
Unemployment.
Unemployment
job will humble you.
For sure.
I work with kids, man, so I'm humbled every single day.
That's nice. You work with kids every day to like now?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's summer now, but you know, when school starts back up, So,
educator, counselor.
I work in actually like at risk, like troubled kids.
That's awesome.
So I get the cuss words and all that. Everything. but that does humble you, man. Makes you understand like what life's really about.
Right.
Did y'all
Speaking
ever
of
make
which, I want to shout out to all my family and all that.
Gotta make a few taco salads
in their fast food days or what?
I worked at Sonic
back in the day.
I did.
We all worked at Sonic.
We did.
did.
I did Bill Miller's for 2 weeks. I was breading the fried chicken, man.
I worked there for 1 week. I did the same thing. That was breading the fried chicken was done.
And I'm like, no, man. I went home and I had a long talk with my dad, and because you know my parents instilled work ethic. And I just remember, you know, feeling like I was letting my dad down when I was going to tell him, like, hey, I'm better than this.
He was like, mijo, you should be rolling tamales.
I know, right?
You're in the wrong part.
Yeah,
Bill Miller.
Maybe that's a test. That's like the Bill Miller test. After you do that, then you move to the fries or something.
Right. Yeah, no, I didn't even want to think about
Next
that.
week it's the fries.
And that's where the big bucks.
And
Sorry.
You're not be moving today.
McDowell's, baby.
do you guys work together with, because I know Freddie, you dabble in, and I say dabble, but you also work in film.
Yeah.
I think somebody mentioned here in the building that your latest project was accepted to the San Antonio Film Festival.
Yes, our music video for Victory just got into San Antonio.
So
Film
it's the music
Festival.
video. That was accepted.
Victory, yes.
That is cool.
But when you have a director doing your music videos, it's kind of a little mini movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a boxing theme. It's really cool. Go check it out.
As a band, we're blessed to have Freddie as a great video producer.
For sure.
I mean, we don't have to go and third party that or outsource that.
Right.
Having that in house.
Shout out to Chris though. We do use Chris. Chris is the man. Chris behind the camera back there. He's the man.
Chris been there for the beginning.
I want to hear that conversation when Freddie's like, "Hey, we're doing this video. You know, there's a great song that'll go with this."
It's coming, y'all.
Cool. So the music video. Have you done any other shorts or?
Yeah, we did a movie back in 2010
Uh-huh.
that got into the San Antonio Film Festival. It's called High Stakes. It kind of broke a couple people into the industry.
Wow.
This guy included.
No way.
Yeah,
so what was the premise of the
It was
short?
long story short. It was an angel and a demon playing poker for souls.
Okay.
And so every time they would throw a hand down, something would affect somebody outside.
Huh.
And John played the good guy.
What'd you say it was called? Hot Steaks?
Hot steak. No, High Stakes.
Yeah, it was called High Stakes.
I got beat up in the movie.
Yep, and that was our first SA Film Festival, and we did well in that. And actually, I got discovered from that movie, so got signed up with an agency. Now I'm a working actor.
Yeah, so you're the actor and comedian as well, right?
Yeah.
So you got jokes. I was gonna say Judy's got jokes, but
yeah, we all kind of have. It's really, to be honest with you, man, we all kind of have like one kind of same personality, man. That's why it gels so good. I just got to give a shout out to Freddie though for getting in that film festival because I literally got discovered there. So that kind of opens other doors too. But
when is the San Antonio Film Festival? Is that
starts August, July 30th.
So it's coming up in the summer.
Yes,
It's a summer event.
Yes.
All right, so let's geek out a little bit about shows.
Yeah.
What was the last amazing show? And you can't say yourself.
I thought we were talking TV shows.
No. The last amazing, because I think we all love to go watch a live show. I don't know. Maybe artists don't like to go watch live shows. Is that like a thing?
I love going to see live music.
Yeah. So
the Fresh Beat Band was the best one I saw.
Who?
The Fresh Beat Band. I took my daughters.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. But I used to love going to see Linkin Park and just bands like that.
Yeah.
That's the,
John?
I actually the last one I went to was what was that? Amy Lee we went to?
No, Evanescence.
Yeah, that was dope.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the last one. But
Cool.
like I said, I'm getting kind of old now, kind of with family and stuff like that. So But the last one I went was that one. Baby Shark. They are hey, Pink Fong, son. They coming to town for real.
Got the pre-sale code if you need it.
Ping pong.
What about you
that's on
guys?
heavy rotation.
Personally, it wasn't the last show I've been to, but my favorite show is any Pearl Jam show. They have such a eclectic set; they could play for 2.5, 3 hours. Oh, and also I saw Paul McCartney recently.
Okay.
And
Who's Paul McCartney? Some up and coming.
I know, right?
he's an up and comer, but for being 7 years old, a 2.5 hour set,
For sure.
it's amazing.
Most recent, let's see, I went to go see The Weeknd, and that was a crazy show. Lights, stage was nuts.
Yeah.
Like I said, my genres are all over the place, and I saw John Mayer right after that, and I saw Chris Stapleton. So
Hey, Chris Stapleton put on a good show.
it sounded great.
Yeah.
Sounded great.
Yeah.
3-piece. They just kind
For
of
sure.
stood on the stage the whole time,
Respect
but it
that.
sounded just like the album.
Yeah, you respect that.
I don't know. So I've never missed I know this may not fit in the genre too
No,
much,
it doesn't.
I've never missed a Coldplay concert.
Okay.
Anywhere they're inside there in Texas.
Well, I
so-
hear that. I mean, I hear that in your delivery.
Yeah, I love they put on an amazing
Yeah, they're
show. They
great.
really
Yeah.
go out for their audience. I mean, some of the stages invest in the experience. So
Right.
if you do get an opportunity, go see Coldplay. But there's that concert, and then Hillsong United I got to see recently.
Mm-hmm.
But most the best one I've seen recently was a pop-up concert
Okay.
by Passion, and so they're like a traveling worship group, and they put on an experience.
Eddie, what about you?
Seeing Tower Power because
Yeah?
I love Tower Power.
Yeah.
Just and also Earth, Wind, and Fire. So those are
That's Earth, Wind, and
Yeah.
Fire is the top
I
of
bet
my
that
list
was
for
awesome.
sure.
Yeah.
Was it when they were at Josabi's?
no. It was actually back when it was Alamo City. But
Oh.
Yeah, now defunct Alamo City. But yeah.
Recently, I went to 21 Pilots. Was surprised that was like very recent, like within a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, me never been there for 21 Pilots.
I didn't expect like what I walked into, but they put on a really good show. I mean,
is it just the two of them on stage? Or
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they have.
How do you put that together?
It's easier when you only have two people.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right?
Lost have how many people in there? 17 people.
I have worked in Spanish language programming for a long time, and it's interesting with a lot of these bandas that are very popular. You know, I've had concerts where I'd show up at the venue as, you know, the station that was putting the concert on, and the venue's like, bro, we can only fit 12 people on the stage. And they're like 19 or 25 deep.
Like Wu-Tang?
Mariachi.
But I think that's pretty interesting. You guys are almost there.
We're working at it now.
You get a DJ or something?
Triangle
It's got like a
player.
horn section.
Yes, the horn section.
We're looking for a triangleist. So
tambourine.
Send your
or a tuba,
emails to
right?
Anthony.
Who's going to be the tuba player in the group? Hey, I played the trombone in middle school.
you're in, bro.
You're in.
Going back, I wish I would have played an instrument in middle school.
Really? You didn't play an instrument in middle school?
I played on my own. Like I always would listen to, like, I was a big grunge kid, and I would just play all those songs and steal my brother's like grunge tapes.
Yeah.
Steal my brother's like grunge tapes and everything. Just kind of play those.
Do you guys have a local band that you like?
Oh, there's a lot of talented local bands out there.
I like to facilitate peer-to-peer positivity. So if there's somebody that you guys respect and like what they're doing, I think that I'd love to know who that is so I can go check them out too if I haven't already.
One of my favorite locals broke up recently. There was a Hydra Melody. They're gone.
Okay.
That's a sad.
Are they doing their own thing now?
There's another band I like called Terra Ferna.
Okay.
Shout out to Terra Ferna.
Yeah, their drummer's dope.
Those guys are pretty cool.
Really good.
I don't know who that is, so I'm gonna go look for them. I'm gonna look them up.
TERAFERNA is another band I liked called Rumors.
Okay.
I haven't heard them much lately, but really dig those dudes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. They're still writing.
Yep.
So yeah.
Other than that, I've been off the scene lately, so I couldn't tell.
Yeah. Same here. But
Do you guys still? I mean, because what I heard sounded amazing. Do you guys like rehearse every week? Is it? Are you not in the studio every week? Are you performing live on a regular basis? Are you kind of getting ready for that?
Well, I'm always working on music, and so we kind of just wrap that part of it up.
Okay.
We still got to shoot the video for Get Your Mind Right.
Okay.
And we're gonna start preparing for our shows in the fall, hopefully.
Okay.
Coming hopefully that soon. We kind of want to make it more elaborate, just so we can stand out more, like lights, kind of put on an experience as opposed to just playing it on stage. So that's what we're working on right now.
Yeah, we like to do it in shifts like that, just so we can fully focus on it.
Gotta juggle the family life. And
Exactly.
Watch the baby perform Baby Shark in the living room.
Exactly. She goes on to 6. We go on to 7. You know what I mean?
and other bands and projects that you're in, you got to manage that too.
Yeah, we try to. We got. It's like a lot of us in the studio. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of moving parts. So we make that all the way tight. We got it now.
Yeah.
And then once we get that video rolling. Because you want to have something for people to go look at after they were like, "Whoa, that show was awesome!"
Right.
We want to send them somewhere so they could get some good media. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for sure.
We wrap that up, and then when we go on show mode, we're in show mode.
Yeah.
And well, I mean that that complements the sound because the sound sounds epic. So when you go to a show,
gotta be epic.
You gotta
we gotta
go to a live
cover that
show.
whole experience.
for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of energy.
What you see has to match what you're listening
Yeah.
to. So.
Well, Get Your Mind Right is now on my playlist.
Nice.
You guys, I really encourage you, you're listening to the podcast, to go and check out The Lost inside the iHeartRadio app. You can follow them on Instagram or Facebook as well. And if you ever are having a down day, play Get Your Mind Right. That'll definitely change your attitude. And guys, thank you so much for stopping by.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, American Vida. What up?
I'm glad you guys stopped by today, and I'm glad I was able to turn a few folks onto your band.
I appreciate that.
The Lost.
Thank you so much.
Everybody get lost.
This is American Vida, the pursuit of a bicultural identity.